Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You know, days like today are really deeply felt. I'm going to speak briefly as the highest-ranking Latino or Latina on this committee. We hear a lot of rhetoric on both sides about the issue of immigration, and it is precisely because it is seen as a border issue that millions of people suffer over and over and over again. It does matter that that Vice President Harris was not the quote-unquote border czar. And let me explain to you why. Because what Vice President Harris has been tasked with under President Biden's administration is addressing the root causes of immigration. Once you have millions of people at the southern border of the United States, you've lost. We need to understand why people are coming to the southern border of the United States and mitigating that in the first place. And frankly, when we turn the page and look at what happened in the Trump administration, we have to see where folks are coming from. And I am tired of hearing from people who cannot point out Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Guatemala on a map, telling us about how to mitigate the millions of people seeking refuge. We should be eliminating the reasons why people are seeking refuge in the first place. Under the Trump administration, Donald Trump participated in what we saw in Venezuela and many of the regime change activities that were happening there. And what we saw most desperately are the horrific sanctions that were placed not targeting specifically the Maduro regime, but the Venezuelan people, innocent Venezuelan people that are being starved of food and basic resources. That is what is contributing to a destabilizing environment and part of what they are fleeing. And that is not to conflate the Venezuelan people with the Maduro regime, because I oppose the anti-democratic measures in which, even just recently in the election, Maduro's refusal to make public the results of a free and fair election. You want to know how else Republicans have contributed to the immigration crisis? Marco Rubio has been sitting and sat and stalled and delayed key ambassadorial appointments of the United States across the world. I myself led a congressional delegation to Latin America and sat across in the Colombian embassy where we had an acting ambassador because Marco Rubio refuses to allow U.S. diplomacy to proceed. You tell me what is destabilizing. What is destabilizing? People have no idea. Legislators who are claiming to understand the issue of immigration don't have the slightest clue as to what is happening in Latin America while supporting the very policies that are driving people to here in desperation in the first place. So don't talk to me about how Republicans have an answer to the issue of immigration. Mr. Krikorian, you advised the Trump administration and Stephen Miller quite closely while President Trump was in office, correct?
No. I mean, we talked to him. He called us for information, and we gave it to him.
Okay, so he called you for information. You talked to him. I don't know how you interpret advising. That's how I would interpret advising. Now, you mentioned earlier that it was your position. We disagree, but it is your position that you believe Haiti should have been colonized for longer, correct?
It's not a position. It was a musing, a speculation on my part.
It is your musing that Haiti should have been.
Sure.
Do you believe that the oldest colony in the world, Puerto Rico, should continue to be colonized as well, just as your position with Haiti?
Again, personally, CIS doesn't take a position on this, but I'm for independence for Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Strongly in favor of that.
So you believe, do you believe in the Trump administration when Donald Trump raised selling the island of Puerto Rico?
I don't even remember that one.
Oh, you don't remember when Donald Trump?
I haven't heard of that.
I mean, I suppose that puts
you I'm sure who he'd sell it to, but I don't know. I mean, sure.
Yeah, I suppose that puts you and Nicky Jam and Anuel in the same boat. President Trump did raise and consider selling the island of Puerto Rico. It's your position that Puerto Rico should have no affiliation. And what process do you think that should happen by?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's
you're
not my
not sure.
area. I do immigration policy.
Okay.
So, like I said, personally, I think Puerto Rico, because it's a distinct, separate country, it is a colony, and it should be given its independence. It's long overdue.
Given.
It's not a CIS position.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.